Don't worry, I can see it here. Okay. Are we live? All right. Welcome. Welcome to our live video. I'm just going to wait for you guys. If this was Instagram, I would have done the whole reading of where they say, wait, let us tell your followers that we are live. But welcome. All right. Good evening. Apologies for the delay. Apologies that we're starting 5 minutes later than we promised to start. Please let me know where you are watching from. Let me do that very quickly before we commence. Let me know where you are watching from. So I have Isabel, I have Bosola, I have Temi Tokpe Ayonyemi, Ilela Boye, Ade Bosola, Isabel Oladakbo. It's nice to have you guys. I have Peter Olafimio Omoyeli. It's nice to have you guys live with me. Hi guys. I want to spend somewhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes on this live video. I want to spend somewhere between 30 minutes and 45 minutes on this live video. So let's have a nice time together. Didi, it's nice to have you around. Let's do a thing. Everyone live the life. Go on Instagram, go on Twitter, go on YouTube, go everywhere and let everyone know that we are live. Oluseun Oyekan is watching from Bauchi. Nice to have you here, Oluseun Oyekan. All right. Ayopela of Lagos is watching from Abuja. Are you actually in Abuja? Pella, that would be strange because I didn't know. Afolabi Oreolua is watching from Lagos, I'm guessing. All right. I want to talk about something very important. All right. And I'm having this live because it's a conversation that I've had with a number of people. And then I'm just like, you know what? It'd be nice to make a video and then just stop having to answer the question every time it comes up. And so that's what this live video is, an attempt to make a nice video that I don't have to repeat myself on every time. What does it mean to have a crush? You have a crush when you have the butterflies in your stomach. I think every one of us has had a crush before. And please, while you're watching this video, like the video, prophesy. I said prophesy. Like the video, subscribe. Prophesy because Temitope Ayemi puts prophesy in the comment section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you are notified, and then share this video with as many people as you can. Now, let me start with an interesting fact. A crush doesn't have to be romantic at all. A crush doesn't have to be romantic at all. Not all crushes are romantic. And I think this is such an interesting fact because we have been trained to see crushes as romantic, we tend to always look for the romance in the crush. You know what I mean? And so we assume automatically whenever we have a crush that it's a romantic one and it must end in a romantic relationship. But a crush, actually, what a crush basically does is that it reveals a desire to connect with a person on a deeper level. A crush reveals a desire to connect with a person on a deeper level. That's all a crush is. This longing. So you can have a crush on a potential friend. I mean, you can see someone and like the person, like the way the person talks, like the way the person behaves, and you develop this desire to have a deeper relationship with the person on a friendship level, not necessarily on a romantic level, but I want to be friends with this person. You can have a crush on a work buddy, somebody that you want to be friends with at the office, and this is new, or this explains why most of you, when you get into a new work environment, in your first 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of working in that place, you have a crush on someone. All right, not because your emotions are out of balance and are always going haywire, and you can't put your emotions in check, but because there's a way your heart wants to connect with that person on a deeper level than what is the deliverable, what do we need to do this morning, how many clients do we need to call. You want to be work buddies, you want to connect. All right, and so your emotions walk right into that space, and that's fair. And that's also a crush. And then, of course, there are romantic crushes that you want to just have a deeper relationship with a person that is romantic in nature. All right, there are those also. And then there are crushes that are not necessarily you wanting to have a deeper relationship, but you just like the way the person looks. All right, I remember, I'm going to be humble, open, and transparent on this video. I remember watching The Hate You Give. If you've seen the movie, I remember watching The Hate You Give, and I remember thinking to myself that Amanda Sternberg is a really fine girl. I wouldn't say I had a crush on her because I hardly have crushes, but then I realized this girl is really pretty. I liked watching her movies just because she was pretty, not because I had a crush on her, or not because I wanted to have a deeper relationship with her. I remember ending that streak of wanting to watch Amanda Sternberg movies when I found out that she identifies as a pansexual. I was like, nah, you're fine, but you don't get sense. I'm so sorry. You are fine, but you don't get sense. So I'm done with you, All right. So you can just have this infatuation towards a person just because you think the person is, pretty, or you think the person is, good looking. There is that. And we can't downplay that effect. Some of us, we call them our celebrity crushes. That celebrity that I want to meet. I don't have those because I've interacted with a lot of celebrities to know that they're just human. But some people are just fine, and you want to talk to them because they're fine. You know what I mean? And here are a few symptoms. I'm just running through some preambles before I get into the conversation proper. And then while we're talking, if you've got questions, if you have specific questions you would like me to address, use the comment section. So this is not like a service, even if you are doing it on the Circle Church platform. This is not like a service. Why am I doing it on the Circle Church platform? I want to unify engagements. All right, I realized that having a separate YouTube page and then the church having its own YouTube page can have the effect of diversifying engagements, and so we decided, let's unify all the views and engagements on one platform, hence the Circle Church platform. Okay, but please, if you've got questions, if you have something you want me to address, use the comment section. Remember, I want to spend 30 to 45 minutes here, and I'm out. Signs that you may have a crush. Number one, scientifically proven, your pupils dilate. Of course, you don't start to... It's not like when you now see a person and your heart starts to beat fast. You now look for a mirror that, are my pupils dilating? But your pupils actually dilate, and of course, your heart beats faster. There is that. And then you want to be around the person all the time. You want to, every little opportunity... You want to spend time with that person. You have a crush on that person. Of course, there's something called mentionitis, which is you can't stop. Have you spoken to people who sees every opportunity to talk about their girlfriend? There is one of such people on my pastoring team. I've been told that Pastor Tomiwa and Queen Latifah are sort of like that. That every conversation with Pastor Tomiwa ends with Latifah, and that's cute and nice and commendable. All right, it shows that even if they're still they've started dating, there is still a crush going on in that relationship. It's nice. All right, so you have the case of mentionitis. You can't stop talking about them. Have you talked about someone, or have you spoken to people who every little conversation, my boyfriend this, my girlfriend that, or that's how I was talking to this person. I mean, you could be talking about states and capitals, Abia, Umahia, Adamawa, Yola. Oh, he's from Yola. Actually, he's not from Yola. He's from Uyo, but then Uyo ends with Y-O and Yola starts with Y-O. And so it just reminded me of him. You know, they cannot stop talking about this person, right? They have this massive, massive, massive crush on the other person, and it's cute. All right, so you have the case of tendinitis. Did I say tendinitis? God forbid. Mentionitis. All right, you can't stop talking about the person. You find every opportunity. Exactly, Pastor Sheon. They're always saying, my babe this, my friend this, my this one would always say, my this. You know, every opportunity you can be speaking in tongues, and somehow the person will still come up in the conversation. Right? You could be praying hard, and Lord, we pray that you bring an end to the suffering in Nigeria, and then the person now goes, oh, Nigeria, my girlfriend's from Nigeria. Like, so yes. And then finally, you can't stop thinking about them. All right. You can't stop thinking about them. I mean, they are always on your mind. Like Lagbaja said, always on your mind, always thinking about them. Anytime, any idle space your mind has, you have gone there. Any idle space your mind has, you're thinking about this person. And all of that is good and nice, and it's okay to have a crush. All right. The interesting thing about having a crush with a person is this. You don't have to have a reason. You don't have to have a reason to have a crush on a person. So, of course, there are people that you will have a crush on because they're cute. There is that. There are people you have a crush on because you like the way the person carries himself or herself. There's also that. But there are some situations where you just find yourself having a crush on this guy, and you can't explain why or where the crush is coming from. Like, you literally know that he's not fine. I'm not saying that there are people who are not fine, you know, because everybody is wonderfully and somewhat fearfully made in the image of God, even if that doesn't mean that we physically look like God. But then, he's not fine to you. He's not the definition of beauty that you would always give. And it's not like, oh, you have a crush on him because you had a conversation and then he made you feel nice. It might just be you've been seeing his pictures repeatedly, and then suddenly you just begin to say, okay, all right, I like the way he looks. And then you start to notice that you have a crush on this person, on this one person. All right, so you don't need to have a reason to have a crush. All right, and because of that, you don't have to always act on your crush. Let me say this. Your crush is not a yardstick for measuring whether we should enter a relationship or not. Of course, there has to be physical attraction, but you must understand that physical attraction is a more developed form of having a crush. All right. And let me just explain scientifically what happens when you have a crush. So, when a person has a crush, their hormone levels drastically change, affecting the chemical composition of the human brain, of the human mind. The chemical composition is affected. Serotonin levels increase throughout the duration of the crush. Specifically, serotonin is a crucial hormone that is responsible for stabilizing moods and emotions. And so when you see a person, your serotonin levels increase. And not just serotonin levels, there's another hormone called dopamine. The dopamine is also known as the reward system hormone. You know how you feel fulfilled. You know that feeling of fulfillment you get when you do something? That feeling of fulfillment is given by dopamine. It's the happy hormone. Do you get? It's the happy hormone. And so you have your dopamine levels rise, your serotonin levels rise, and your brain is swooning literally in all of these new chemicals. Do you get what I'm saying? Your brain is literally swooning in all of these new chemicals. Decisions made during crushes usually have exaggerated emotions behind them. Decisions made during crushes usually have exaggerated emotions behind them. Now, this is why, or this is where it becomes funny. The general definition of love that a lot of people have today is actually a crush. You know, when they say it was love at first sight, it wasn't. It was crush at best, at first sight. All right, decisions made when you have a crush, during crushes, usually are backed by exaggerated emotions. Because you have serotonin swooning in your head. And because serotonin is responsible for balancing, stabilizing your mood and your emotions, when you have too little of it, you feel depressed, you feel sad, you feel alone. When you have too much of it, have you seen someone who has a crush? I mean, I don't have a mobile phone. Could you hand me a mobile phone, please? Have you seen someone who is, you know what we would always say, they're in love? When they have a crush, you watch the person chatting, and then the person is on the phone and just smiling sheepishly. For no reason. You're just smiling at your phone. Oh, what are you smiling at? Did he say something funny? No, he just sent me an emoji. It's the emoji. Brother, you've seen emojis before. Right? You've seen emojis before. But your serotonin levels are so high that your emotions, your mood is balanced the other way. So you are overly happy. I'm sure you've seen, thank you for the phone. I'm sure you've seen the video or the picture, the meme of the guy lying down on his bed, smiling with the phone, and then he's holding mop stick to the ceiling. Yeah, serotonin is responsible for that. And their legs on the wall, Pastor Shemo got it right. Serotonin is responsible for that. Making decisions at those moments, all right, making decisions at those moments can be drastic. And this is why, of course, when we're saying, you know, there's a saying that don't think with your heart, think with your head. You literally cannot think with your heart. All right, when we say don't think with your heart, we're talking about don't think with your brain when your brain is swooning with all of those chemicals. Calm down. All of these are the love hormones. Now, the fact that those hormones were released is a good sign. Honestly, it is a good sign. It's a good sign. Those hormones are released by several factors and circumstances. So maybe the way he spoke to you, or he or she might be eye candy. So, you know, he might be ticking the boxes in the communication department, but they might not really be eye candy for you. But because they're ticking the boxes in the communication department, your serotonin levels are increasing, your dopamine levels are rising. And by the way, dopamine is what is wrong with pornography. All right, why? Because dopamine is released when a person climaxes. That's the feeling of happiness that they feel. And so the reason why a lot of people, why pornography is so addictive is because when you begin to get that level of instant gratification, the way the body was wired is that you get that level of gratification after work has been done. But what pornography does is it creates, I don't know why I'm talking about pornography, but what pornography does is that it creates these shortcuts where you don't need to do a lot of work to get that instant gratification. All you need to do is watch a couple of videos, touch yourself in some illicit and illegal way, and then, boom, instant gratification. And then after that, your brain is like, again, let's go. And the thing about dopamine levels is that the more you dose yourself with it, the less its effect on your brain is. So let me explain. If you remember your very first crush, it nearly crushed you. I mean, if you remember your very first crush, it nearly crushed you because you probably see him in the class. There's a class going on in your own class, like a teacher is in front of you, a lecture is going on, and then you look out of the window, you see him in his own class playing and doing something stupid, and then you are just lost, smiling. You know, something silly like that, right? That was your very first crush. Your brain was just getting used to this combination of chemicals, dopamine, serotonin, going on at the same time. And then you're like, ooh, this is nice. I like this. Let's go. But then after that, the next crush was less dramatic. And then now you can have a crush on a person and be beefing the person at the same time. You have mastered the art of crushing. You know what I mean? Because the more your brain doses on dopamine, the less its effects. And that's why pornography is dangerous, because every new dopamine release is less powerful than the previous one, and then it leaves you wanting the feeling of the first dopamine release. Is dangerous. It is dangerous. And so you don't have to act on your crush, all right? There has to be a balance between the heart and the brain, and that's where this live video comes in. So someone said, Didi says, I took Yoruba L1 because of my first crush, because I wanted to be in the same class with him. I mean, it sounds funny to you now, but then you had skill in your mind. More wise. I get game. So when he doesn't expect me, boom, he sees me in his class. You know? But yeah, there is a your first crush was probably very, very crushing. All right? But let me keep going. And so a lot of people have conversations around, so now I have a crush on someone. We have this thing going on where we talk a lot, and majorly that's why I have a crush on him, because the older you get, the less your crush is dependent on just physical appearances. All right? You might see a guy from afar and think, oh, this guy is nice, and think, oh, this guy is he's everything I want physically, and you might be attracted to him, but you might not be moved to talk to him, because you're like, man, people that look like this usually come with trouble, so can I just do away with the trouble for a while? But a lot of ladies ask the question. I've seen the question at least 3 times or 2 times in this comment section. What if I have a crush on this guy? Like, we have a great thing going. We talk every day. We are nice to each other, but he's not tall enough. He's not tall enough. What about that? I just have a couple of things to say to that. Number 1, your crush ended a long time ago, because your serotonin levels, your dopamine levels, all of that crashed a while ago. Honestly, what is now continuing is just genuine interest. I like conversations with this person. He makes me happy. But it's no longer, oh, I have this massive crush on this person and I can't deal with it. No, I have conversations with this person and the person makes me happy. Tofumi Jiboku asked, what is it with girls and height? It's actually an evolutionary thing. It's actually evolutionary. So for a long time, or up until now, height is usually associated with security. So now I'm about to tweak girls' minds, because they're like, I never thought about it this way. But yeah, it's the real. This is what it's about. Height is usually associated with security. and social standing. All right, those two things: proper security and good social standing. All right, and so when a girl is looking for a tall, dark, handsome guy, men look for different things in women, and women look for different things in men. What women are looking for in men is security and social standing. What men are looking for in women is safety, the safety, peace of mind, and respect. That, I think that about cuts it. Peace of mind and respect, just respect. All right. So when you have security and social standing is what the women are looking for, and so subconsciously, a woman associates height with those two things. So a guy that walks into the room and commands the presence in the room. And then of course, as security became more privatized, so unlike before where the man has to keep watch over the home literally, so it's night time, he has to sleep close to the door. There are still those rules today. For instance, when you're married, where does the guy sleep on the bed? Subconsciously, the guy sleeps closest to the door because he's supposed to keep watch on the door. It's a thing. It's wired into our minds. When a guy is walking with a girl on the road, subconsciously, the guy wants to walk closer to the road, than the girl is, because he feels like he needs to protect the woman. It's human behavior. All right. But now, security is more privatized. I don't need to sleep close to the door to secure the door. I can lock the house, employ a security man, put a guard dog outside, and we will sleep peacefully. And so the height thing then becomes less about security and more about social standing. All right, more about social standing. And so a guy walks into the room, and a lady wants to walk into the room with a guy that walks into the room, and everybody turns, and he literally commands the presence of the room. Height. And that easily happens with height. You know what I mean? He literally commands the presence of the room. This is why most ladies are actually after the height thing. Men don't usually care that much if their woman commands. I mean, they want the woman to be pretty in their own eyes, and when she walks in, at least make your guy say, oh, she's fine. But that's it. But ladies are usually really, really particular about the social standing. And height does that. So that answers your question, Tofumi. But why? So now you have a crush on someone who isn't as tall as you would love him to be. And you guys are still talking. What do you do? Number one, there was a question Pastor Tomiwa asked when Didi asked the question. The question was, is height a non-negotiable for you? All right. Is height a non-negotiable for you? The answer is what will determine what you do. So some guys cannot marry a lady who is fair. Some guys cannot marry a lady who is fair because they don't want a fair lady. Some guys don't want a dark lady. Same thing, some ladies don't want a guy who isn't tall, who is short. And some ladies want a guy who is tall. And then tall is relative, because you can have a guy who is 5'9", all right, and the girl is 5'4". And she's like, oh, my boyfriend is tall. But 5'9" isn't that tall, considering that some ladies are 5'8" and 5'9". You know what I mean? So some ladies will define tall as 6'2", 6'3". And then some ladies will define tall as 5'9". So you need to ask yourself, is it a negotiable for me? I mean, if the guy checked every other single box, is his height, or let me put it like this to you. You know when people say there are many fish in the sea, it's not true. There are many animals in the sea. Some of them are fish, some of them are crocodiles. Right? So now I've caught what seems to be a nice fish. The fish is just not as tall as I want the fish to be. Is the height worth risking throwing the fish back into the sea and catching a crocodile? Is it worth it? Do you understand? If your answer to that question is yes, then throw the fish back into the sea and start hunting for another fish. And know that you might catch another crocodile or catch, something else that is not a fish. Right? But if your answer to that question after serious deliberation is, well, this fish is not that short. Right? And this fish has charisma. So what the fish is lacking in height, the fish has in swag or charisma, then don't throw that fish back into the sea. That's the point I'm trying to make. If your specifications are you're a Christian. I'm talking as though I'm talking to Christians, right? So you're a Christian and you're talking to this guy who loves God. Obviously, he's not faking it. All right. Someone said the fear of catching crocodile is the beginning of wisdom. So this guy is not faking it. He genuinely, truly loves God. Because he loved God before you met him. So he loves God, and that's like a no-brainer, like it's a non-negotiable for you. He loves God. He listens when you talk. He's very intentional about you. He's deliberate to be a good guy. And all of that. And then the only issue you have with him is, he's not tall enough. You now have to ask yourself, is the height that important to me? Am I able to achieve physical attraction with this person in spite of the height? You know what physical attraction is? Physical attraction is that natural drawing towards that person that makes you feel like you want to tear their skin. Yeah, it's a godly thing. It's just not to be expressed before marriage. Right? But does it make me want to abandon all these other beautiful traits that I have seen, to go after him? And that's not a question anybody can answer for you. And you are not a shallow person if the answer to that question is yes, that, I know that he has all of these beautiful qualities and traits, but I can't get past the fact that he is not tall. For me, let me tell you, some people might consider this shallow, but I don't. One of my non-negotiables, actually two of them. Number one, you must not be rambunctious. You must not be loquacious. You must not be a talkative, is what I'm trying to say. If I can't for the life of me date a person who cannot stop talking. Because sometimes I just like quiet and peace. You know what I mean? Sometimes I just like quiet and peace. So listen, you might be the most intentional lady, buy all the nicest gifts. You might be the, tick all my boxes, but you are loquacious. I can't marry you. I'm sorry, I can't. And honestly, you are a great person. You are just not the great person for me. There's someone out there who, you being loquacious, being, talkative, ticks their box. Like once you start talking, they're like, yes, finally, someone that talks. I want this person. But me, no. Number two, you must be intelligent. I'm not talking about book smart. I'm talking about actual intelligence. Like, we must be able to have a conversation about the effect of the war going on in Russia and Ukraine on society, and you don't feel like I'm being fake deep. Because I'm like that. That's the kind of person I am. I'm broad. I'm smart. It used to be, I'm a polyglot. I'm polymath, not a polyglot. I'm smart. You know what I mean? So, that was a deal breaker for me. You know what I mean? It was a deal breaker for me. So you could have been the most humble person, the most loving person, but if our conversations were not usually intelligent, I would just shift back. I'm like, I like you, but I can't continue, and that's fine. You know what I mean? That's fine. And so you have to ask yourself, is this worth it's actually opportunity cost. I have 9 things out of 10, but this one that I don't have, is it worth throwing the fish back into the sea and catching, attempting to catch another fish? I mean, you might be lucky catch another fish. Some of you might be unlucky and catch plenty crocodiles before you catch a fish. It's fine. But you are not shallow for wanting to end that relationship or that situationship, before it goes further. But please, here's now where I must beg you. End the situationship on time. Don't string him or her along, hoping that one day they will change. And of course, there are some physical traits that are attainable. So I want a guy that has, or I want a lady that has a good dress sense. But this person I'm dating doesn't have a great dress sense. I do, but they don't. Dress sense is something that can be taught. And so it would seem unwise to end a relationship with someone who you consider to be generally great because they don't have what you call swag. Because honest to God, in 2 years, in 1 year, you now see the person with all of the swag that you hoped that they would have, and you're now jealous that the one that got away. So yes, if you are in such a situationship, end it on time. If it's something that can be worked on, then please end it. Don't end it based on something that can be worked on, unless the person is not willing to work on it. So the person doesn't know how to dress, or the person smells. Some guys or ladies especially, you people, nobody used to tell you people the truth. At least guys do tell themselves the truth. If your guy they smell, you go tell your guy, say they smell. Ladies, you will leave your room, you will leave your house, your hair is smelling like fufu, 30-day-old fufu is smelling. You enter inside the room, the aroma, the atmosphere changes, not because you came with the presence of God, but because you came with smell. And nobody will tell you to go and loosen your hair, because ladies don't like to offend themselves. So if it's something like smell, and then you are working on the person, you're trying to correct the person, and then the person is telling you, I can't, please, in the name of Jesus, if you can't continue, go away. And let me just say this. Hi. If the person you are in a situationship with or relationship with starts to suggest the use of roll-on or the use of perfume, don't now say, I don't like perfume. I like natural. I like the natural. You are looking for trouble. If the person starts to suggest perfume, take the hint. I do smell at times. Or maybe they now go and buy mouthwash for you. It means your mouth is smelling. Take the hint. All right. But in such a situation, end the relationship. All right, end the situationship and tell the person why. Okay, tell the person why calmly. All right, I like you. You are a great guy, but for me, height is a deal breaker, and you are just not tall enough for me. It's not you. You are a great person, but you are just not tall enough for me. Of course, there is no way to. I hate when we do this thing where we try to end the relationship without hurting the other person. There's no way to end a relationship without hurting the other person, especially if the person liked you. Okay, but you can soften the blow, and the only way to soften the blow is to respect the person by telling the person, this is why, this is actually what is going on. I don't see us moving forward. Okay, and you are not being unrealistic for saying, oh, I want a taller person, or I want a shorter person. And there was something someone said along the line that I need to address. If the reason you're not dating a guy is because you're not dating a guy who is maybe the same height with you, is because you don't want to not have to wear heels, so he doesn't feel somehow. The problem is not the heels, the problem is not the height. The problem is that the person is insecure. All right, my wife wears heels sometimes, and my wife, when she wears her heels, she's taller than me sometimes, most times, and that's fine. That's totally okay. That mean there are many tall guys that don't exude the charisma that I do. So what are we talking about? I'm a spec anywhere, any day. All right, I'm secure. So her height doesn't make me feel insecure. If she's taller than me, or she wears heels and she's so I think you ought to correct your mentality on that one. You're not looking for a tall guy, you're looking for a secure person. All right, you're actually not looking for a tall guy. If the reason you are looking for a tall guy is so you can wear your heels, you're not looking for a tall guy. You are looking for a secure person. I need you to learn that, all right, so that you know the qualities to look for in a guy. Because the same insecurity that makes him feel uncomfortable when you wear heels will make him feel uncomfortable when you earn more. So do you now quit your well-paying job because he feels insecure that you earn more than him? You shouldn't. Thank you. Someone said Poco is a spec. Amen to that. But no, so what you're looking for is not a tall guy, really. Yeah, tall guy would have been nice, but what you're actually going for is a secure person, someone who is not insecure, someone who doesn't mind you doing better than him, someone who doesn't mind you looking better than him in public, someone that's not that competitive, with you to make sure that you cannot look better than me, you cannot do better than me. How dare you look taller than me in public, dress better? No. In fact, every good husband or every good boyfriend should seek for you to look better outside. It's the guy thing. The guy wants to present his babe and let everybody yab him and say, how did you land this girl? And a lot of people think it's a yab to the guy that, how did you land this babe? But a guy is like, yeah, you might insult me, but I landed the babe. So yeah, you're insulting me, but it's me that is dating her. So yes. All right. So you might want a tall guy, and let me say this. Don't end something great for something superficial. Do you hear me? Don't end something great for something superficial. So wrestle with yourself and see, you can lie to everybody else, but be honest to yourself. Do I want a tall guy just for the optics? Because when everything is said and done, the optics will pass away. So do I want a tall guy just for the optics of it? All right. Now, I mean, you can easily be attracted to anyone, tall or short or everything, but you just don't, just for the optics of it, you want a tall guy. And so you have this great guy who loves you and can give you the world. And because of the optics, you sacrifice something that was actually special for something superficial. You will regret it, I promise you. Someone asked, Pops, what if they don't mind, but personally it makes you feel uncomfortable? You have to ask yourself, why does it make me feel uncomfortable? See, I'm an advocate for brutal honesty to yourself. Why does it make me feel uncomfortable? That it makes me feel uncomfortable, does it reveal something about myself that I need to work on? Am I going to end a great relationship with this other person because of a negative trait about myself that I need to work on? Why does it make me feel uncomfortable? Let me tell you, optics will pass away. They will. I'm not saying the tall guy will become shorter, but one day it will no longer matter that he's tall. Oh, I know what I'm saying. It will no longer matter that person has fine eyes. At the beginning, it was everything, but it will no longer matter after a while. And so all those other things that you sacrificed this one for will now be the things that matter. Don't sacrifice something special for something superficial. All right? Don't sacrifice something special for something superficial. Be honest with yourself. Do some serious self-introspection and ask yourself, the fact that this thing makes me feel uncomfortable, does it say something about me? I mean, do I feel uncomfortable with it because I'm worried about what people will say? I don't have a problem with him, I don't have a problem with his height. I'm just worried what people will say. If that's your problem, the problem is not the height. The problem is that peer pressure is killing you, and you need to deal with it. All right. And then, Isabel, you asked, why can't we have everything? Why do we have to sacrifice something? Because the person is sacrificing something to be with you. The person is also sacrificing something to be with you. All right. You have negotiables, you have non-negotiables. And there are certain things that the person will have to sacrifice to be with you. Okay? Certain things that the person will have to say, I know I want this in a person, but she's just not quite there yet. And so let me be patient. Or it's not that important that I will now forgo all of these other important things that she has to offer. So the person is also sacrificing something to be with you. And the person is also sacrificing something to be with you. Then be ready to make a sacrifice. Okay? Be ready to make a sacrifice. Gospel truth. So yes. All right. I have gone through my notes, and I think I've finished everything I have to say on this subject. But let me just leave the floor open for questions. You guys seem extremely excited by this conversation, but let me just leave the floor open for questions. So if you've got questions, use the comment section. I will answer about 2 or 3 questions and then revert, and then we end the live video. All right, I'll answer about 2 or 3 questions and then we end the live video. But I hope you've learned something this evening. You don't have to tick every box on your list. You have to know which boxes are the important ones and the ones that are not so important. And if I have all of this, I mean, God blessed me with my wife, and honestly right now I can't think of one thing that my wife did not tick on my boxes. Maybe because I tailored my box to my wife. You know, when I saw my wife, I just knew this is my beloved wife in whom I am well pleased. You know, but I mean, I'm sure there are certain things that she may want me to do that I have not measured up to yet. I'm a Spec, but there will still be, I wish he could do this. Warn you. Okay, so someone says, isn't that settling? I like this, like I want this quality, but I have to forgo it for a person. Chika, that's a very selfish way to think. And I'm not saying you're a selfish person, but I'm saying the whole idea of settling only applies to your non-negotiables. Do you understand? The whole idea of settling only applies to your non-negotiables. And note that you are not foregoing it for the person, because I didn't tell you when I was talking about fish in the sea and crocodiles in the sea, I wasn't talking about, forgo, can you throw the fish back so that the fish you don't hurt the fish's feelings. No, I said, can you throw the fish back, knowing full well that this is a fish that I want, just that it doesn't give me this one option. And so throwing this fish back might mean that I would have to forgo all the benefits of this fish to me for this one option. So you're not foregoing it for the person, you are foregoing it for yourself. I mean, he communicates well with me, or she communicates well with me, she gives me peace of mind, she's very smart, she's every other thing I want, but she's not tall. Not that she's every other thing I want. Not her. Me, I'm still being selfish about this. Do you understand? But she is not tall. I want a tall person, but she is not tall. I have to then ask, is the height a deal breaker for me? Like, is it an absolute, can I do without it? And then if the question is, yes, I can do without it, then I forgo the height, not because I don't want to hurt her feelings, even if there's that, but because I'm foregoing the height for every other benefit I can get from being with this person. So I'm not foregoing it for her, I'm foregoing it for me. It's a selfish thing. So that's not settling. Settling only has to do with your non-negotiable. So he's not a Christian, but boy, does he have fine eyes. So being a Christian is a non-negotiable for you, but you settle for the person. non-negotiables. But when you come to things that you naturally can negotiate away. Now, I mean, there are people, let me tell you something. You see this guy that you think is too short for you. There's some other guy that will sweep you off your feet that you will never have the conversation in your mind about the person's height until it is too late. Maybe you're already dating. I'm like, I remember when I used to say that I would never date a short person. But now this guy is shorter than me and I'm dating him. So if you've got negotiables, you can negotiate on the negotiables. It's not settling, it is negotiation. All right. Someone said, I have a question. Poco, you said a crush is not always romantic. It may just indicate that you want to be good friends or work closely with a person. Does it mean that you can have a crush on the same sex? In that light, yes. And it does happen. In that light, yes. In fact, we come up with creative names for all of those. Man crush. You ask a guy, who is your man crush? So everybody knows your man crush is not you don't have a romantic feeling towards the person, but boy, do you like the person, you know? So yes, there is that. It's not necessary. So when you say towards the same sex, yeah, you can have a crush towards the person of the same sex that is not romantic or sexual in nature. That is, I just want to have a deeper relationship with the person. I hope I answered that question. Poco, you've said before that the only place you can be selfish in the dating is in the process of choosing who to date. And it's exactly what I just said. In the whole process of choosing who to date, you are allowed and permitted to be selfish. But draw the line. Don't, like, when I was talking about negotiation, I wasn't saying, oh, you're negotiating because of the person. I'm saying you are negotiating because of what the person offers you. Note that nowhere in this live video have I said, oh, don't hurt the person's feelings. No. Remember, I said if it is a non-negotiable for you, I mean, the height is an absolute deal breaker. End the situationship now. I said it. I did say it. End it now. All right. And so, I think that right about answers that question. I want to answer one more question, and then we will leave here. Ooh, I was supposed to go live on Instagram. We forgot. I was supposed to go live on Instagram with this, do an Instagram live as I was doing a YouTube live. But I think everybody on Instagram should be here. If you're not here, you are sleeping on the bicycle. Do I have any other questions? See, there is no hard and fast rule. Go back. Think deeply. Be brutally honest with yourself. Why is this height thing such a big deal for me? And I'm using height because it is the least offensive one to use. I mean, for some guys, it is big bum and big breasts. Forgive my crassness. Is big backside and big front side, as people would say. And I know people. I have friends. Deal breaker, if she does not have a B, I cannot do. And the reason for them is I am attracted to this. Like, my natural attraction is this. And so I don't want to have to be dating someone and be attracted to women outside, which is understandable. All right. Someone asked, please, what is the difference between settling and having unrealistic expectations? I think unrealistic expectations are unrealistic when even you know they are unrealistic. So the guy must love God. He must love God. He must be tall, dark, and handsome. These are realistic. He must be tall, dark, and handsome. He must be this. He must be that. He must know 5 languages. Now you're getting a little bit unrealistic. All right, because what's the probability? Bring out your calculator and calculate. What's the probability that you will meet a guy tall, dark, and handsome? He must speak in this kind of tongues. He must know how to do this. He must. You're getting a little bit unrealistic, okay? You're getting a little bit unrealistic. You're getting unrealistic when you are asking for things that most people don't have. And not that they don't have it because they chose not to have it, but they don't have it because it's a thing that most people don't have. So I don't know how to define that. But you're unrealistic when you will know. You will know that, this one, I've gone too far. So you want to date a girl who just left the university, or maybe she just entered the university and then she already looks like give me one of these Nengi from Big Brother. Young man, you are going too far. You are going too far. All right. You can date a person that has the potential, that you can, with time, both of you will add things and remove some things to make her look like what you want her to look like. But you are going too far in saying you want to date. Of course, there are a few people that look like that. And don't say, but I've seen someone that has all of that. Go and date the person. Go and date the person. All right. Don't say, but I've seen someone. The person is an exception to the rule. You want to date a Travis Green with a touch of Lil Wayne. You are going too far. Because for you to know that he has a touch of bad boy in him, you have to draw it out. You now come and tell me that, did you see the meme that, everybody please help me judge this pregnancy test stick. Am I pregnant or not? You will know in 9 months. You will know for sure in 9 months. All right. All right. What if he meets all your non-negotiables, but he is younger than you or your age mates? Is age a negotiable or a non-negotiable? Like, these are the questions. If there is a what if, then the question is, am I ready to negotiate this thing away? Do you understand? It is true that women have a faster biological clock than men, considering that women enter puberty earlier than men do. I mean, most ladies had already started menstruating in JSS 2 when we were still running around as guys, running around and playing with plastic bottle, doing table soccer. And then there was this thing that happened in almost every school, that the guys went home for holiday in JS 3, then returned in SS 1, super tall, deep voice, broad shoulder, and you're like, did they pump you? It's puberty. But then many of the ladies were already seeing their periods in JS 2. That's a good 2 years before the guys started. So yes, there is that ladies have a faster biological clock than men. All right. A lady can hit menopause at 45, and a guy can still produce children at 90. But at the same time, it's not a determinant. I mean, the lady I dated before I met my wife was older than me. My wife is younger than me. I'm married to a woman my wife is younger than me well. I mean, by well, I don't mean by 10 years. I can't marry someone 10 years younger. I've gone too far, right? But my wife is younger than me, right? So it's all a matter of, is this something I can negotiate away? Is this something I can negotiate? Is age, like, can I overlook the fact that I'm older than him? Can I overlook the fact that we're at the same age? Can we have a healthy relationship in spite of that? That's what negotiable means. That can we have a healthy relationship in spite of, he's older than me or she's older than me, and all of those questions. All right? All right. Okay. It is 7 p.m. I intended to spend 30 to 45 minutes with you guys. I've spent more than that. Thank you for the live video. I really do hope that I blessed you guys. I hope you learned something. Please share this video. And I can't promise you that I will go live every Friday. I will try. I'm busy, but I will try. This particular live was actually triggered by a question one of you asked me yesterday. In fact, part of the caption we put around was, I copied a line of her question and I pasted it. But I hope that I did answer most of your questions. Thank you for coming live with me. Don't forget to come to church on Sunday. Cluster groups are meeting tomorrow. And we're fasting soon, because we've not announced fasting dates for the month of April, but we're fasting soon. Let's have a lovely time. I love you guys. Au revoir.